Welcome to Fan for Racing Radio. I'm Fan for Racing Sharon, and joining me today is Sal Segala and our guest, Taylor Mayhew. Welcome to the show, Taylor.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
Well, we're happy to have you, and I'm going to hand off to Sal so he can get started with the interview.
First of all, thanks, Taylor, for coming on the show. I know it's been a heck of a past few weeks. We've been trying to get you on, but I know you were doing a lot of filming with the Saturday Night Lights show that they filmed over at Kern. That will all come later on in the show. So basically, we want to start off with how you got started in racing. I know you're racing this year with the Spears Cars Tour West. We know you're running a pro late, and you're also running in the MMI Legend Series.
Yeah, definitely. So I started off personally is because my dad used to race. My dad raced pretty much his whole life through go-karts, late models, ARCA cars, trucks, pretty much everything he could get his hands on, he raced. And yeah, that's kind of how it started. So I kind of just carried on with my father, and he bought me my first race car when I was about 5 or 6. And from there on, it pretty much been my passion. And yeah, it's just what I've done for the rest of my life, and I hope to keep doing it.
So is there ever a time, that, especially out in Bakersfield, there's a lot of football, stick and ball sports, stuff like that. Was there ever a time, when maybe you wanted to dabble into other sports besides auto racing?
Yeah, actually, when I was a little bit younger, I think around 8 or 9, I was playing flag football for like 2 years, I think it was, and I really enjoyed that. But yeah, no, like racing has just always been in my genes, so kind of stuck to racing.
So actually, you guys are from a little bit farther out from Bakersfield. I think you're closer to what, Stockton and probably what, All American Speedway?
No, actually, we live in Bakersfield.
Oh, you live in Bakersfield now? Because I know your dad used to call another city his hometown. I thought maybe you guys were still out in that neck of the woods.
No, let me just clarify real quick. Taylor's dad, most of you probably already know, but just in case for those of you who may not know, Taylor's dad is David Mayhew. So I just want to make sure we clarify that.
David's, I think he's the most winningest driver when they opened Kern. He was the man to beat out there, and he ran a tough team. Which basically you have the same owner that ran your dad's team is running your team, right?
Yeah, so MMI, which is Steve McGowan, they helped out my dad throughout his years of racing, and he's been helping me out for the last couple of years, which is super cool of him. Just getting into races cars and just being a part of the MMI team is super cool.
So being so young, how do you find the balance between racing the Legend and the Pro Late? Because I know I've seen you in Legends for a long time, and then I guess just recently you guys just barely picked up the Pro Late program.
Yeah, so going back and forth for me from Legend car to Pro Late was really, really hard in the beginning of the year. Just 2 complete different driving styles. The Pro Late, it's pretty lazy, just more mellow, hit your marks every time. And the Legend car, I feel like, is really squirrely, more out of control in a way. And yeah, it's just super tough, but I feel like we're starting to figure out more and more as we go.
So in the Legend, you've had a lot of success. I think you have five wins this season with the MMI Legends with the Cars Tour West. I know it's a tough field of drivers because we see basically almost the same drivers, except some of the tracks we get to, then the fields, they really, bloom out, to like 30, 35 cars sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. The Cars Tour West stuff, I think, it's really getting up there with the Legend cars. And it honestly depends which track we go on car count. Like we usually, like sometimes at Kern, it's like 10 to 15. And then we just got back from Colorado not that long ago. And I think it was a car count of 30 to 35, which was crazy crowd and crazy amount of cars and everything. But yeah, so we've had a little bit of success this year in the Legend car stuff. We've been running on the team 3rd gen race cars with Peyton Saxton, and yeah, he's had my car hooked up for most of the races this year.
So your last big win was at Colorado, I think a couple weeks ago or something like that. It was on a Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was a Thursday night race, wasn't it?
No, actually, I got second on the Thursday night race. I ended up winning the Saturday night.
The Saturday, yeah. I knew it was one of the two races you had won, but to win out there in Colorado is huge because I know a lot of the drivers I've talked to, they said, that a lot of the locals, get, they come out, especially, out up there, which has been it's always been a big facility. They've always had a lot of tough racers come out of there.
Yeah, no, for sure. Back in Colorado, there's a lot of local fast people. I'd say at least 10 were running with us, and which is really impressive. And I haven't really raced any of them before because they don't really travel with the car store stuff. So it really impressed me to go back there and have a lot of locals run really fast with all of us.
So how do you prep for for your upcoming races? It seems like we've had different. So far, I guess the weather's been pretty consistent, but I know this last Saturday was pretty hot over at Orange Show. Then sometimes, actually Roseville was pretty warm too. Stockton was hot, but then sometimes we've gotten to Kern this year. We've been lucky, caught some cool weather.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like the weather is really hot pretty much anywhere you go this time of year. So yeah, definitely here in Bakersfield, it's a lot hotter now than it was whenever we raced. So like in the hundreds lately. But yeah, no, just trying to adapt to the weather from being so hot inside the race cars, trying to get prepared for that stuff.
So how do you prepare for when you get the hot weather when you have to go from practicing in the legend to practicing in the pro late, back and forth. Plus, all the feedback, you have to give your, the guys that are working on your cars. And also, when it comes to qualifying, because I'm sure you drive a different line in the legend than you do in a pro late, with the exception of Kern where they have the two different tracks.
Yeah, really, I don't really do much to prepare, if I'm going to be honest. I usually just do my routines in the week. Yeah, that's about it. And I kind of just, one of my main things is write down notes for each track. So every time I get back from a track, I write down notes from what car and what track it is and see what I could have done better, watch race replays and just all that stuff and how I could have worked on better and just ran better overall.
So how much does it help having your dad in your pit right there, giving you advice, helping you out, especially with all the success that he's had, coming through the ranks, like you said, he raced late models at Kern. He did a couple stints with Kyle Busch in the trucks, in NASCAR, and then now he's a triathlete. So how does all that work out as far as your conditioning and also preparing you for each race?
Yeah, definitely having him in the pits, I feel like is a game changer just for all his knowledge and all his experience overall is just really cool to have him helping me try to improve every race. And during the week, usually he's riding his bike all the time, like every single day, miles after miles. And yeah, I'm not a huge fan of riding my bike or anything like that. I run every once in a while, but I do work out every day to try to stay in shape for the longer races. And we've been meal prepping lately, trying to bulk up for the long races. And yeah.
And then you have Derek Thorn also on your team, which I'm sure is a huge factor because Derek, as everybody knows, he's won a lot of races, won a lot of big money races, but Derek is really good when it comes to setups and knowing different tweaks to do with the car.
Yeah, Derek, he's really smart and he helps me personally as a driver. He's like more of a driver coach to me. And so whenever like my car's like not running as good as I feel like it should, I ask Derek like, "Hey, can you jump in this thing really quick and go run a few laps and try to help me out on feedback?" And so he definitely helps me try to get better. And whenever he jumps into it, I could go out there and watch and see what he's doing differently and try to fix myself and try to do it like he is doing it. And obviously we try to fix the car if there's something wrong with it, but if not, then I mainly just focus on trying to fix my driving and make it like his.
And then now with the acquisition of Mike Keene as a crew chief, gosh, I'm sure that is huge because everybody on the West Coast wants Mike as their crew chief, but everybody also knows that Mike can only work on one car at a time because when he puts his mind to it, he gives his 180%. So, what's it like having Mike now? In the with the team.
Yes, having Mike is huge. He's like the brains of the whole team right now. Uh, Him and Derek just go at it every single race, and they literally figure out what's wrong with the car. They'll talk, they'll do whatever. Just him and Mike Keene are like just the perfect duo, and it's truly awesome that I get the opportunity to work with him, and yeah, it's super cool.
So actually, when you look at your team, you got your dad, you have Mike, and you have Derek. I mean, I don't think there's any other team down there in the pits that can actually have all the resources that you have, especially with your dad knowing Kern the way he knows Kern, Derek knowing all the different tracks, all the knowledge he brings, and then you bring in Mike Keene as a crew chief that knows. That guy has notes from, gosh, notes on notes and notes, data and data and data upon everything that can just change thing in a minute and basically change your whole racing world.
Yeah, exactly. He's like just this much brains and this much talent and just everything in general, just helping me out, trying to make me better is just huge. Like going into the race weekend, it's always like super pressure. I feel like I always put myself at super high standards just because of what my dad has done and what my team feels like we can accomplish. So I always hold myself at high standards.
And your team, they have a lot of faith in you, especially, then when you look over at the legend side with Peyton Saxton and all the success he has had, so I mean, you have a really well-rounded team.
Yeah, everywhere I go, I feel like I have the best of the best stuff, which is super, super awesome, which I'm super thankful for. And yeah, I mean, everywhere we go, we're always pretty good, I feel like. And yeah, just trying to get better as a driver and do what I can to make our part of the team faster.
That's awesome. And with that, I know Sharon has some questions for you. So I'm going to turn it over to Sharon.
Okay, Taylor. Racing with your dad is always a great thing. It's an advantage that a lot of the other drivers don't have. You mentioned that you struggled a little bit when you went to the pro late models from the legends. Talk a little bit about that transition for you as a race car driver and where your comfort level is at this point.
Yeah, the transition, it was really mental for me, honestly. Like every time I got out of my legend car to get into the pro late, I have to sit there for like a minute or two and just tell myself like what car I'm in, what I have to do differently in this car, just all different little stuff like that. I also, in a legend car, we obviously sit in the middle of the race car, so it's super easy to see where the wall is. And you jump in the pro late and then you can't see your right side very well. So super hard for me to try to adapt to get close to the wall like that. But I feel like we've been adapting better and better every race. And yeah, we've been getting better.
Okay, so your comfort level is probably from a 2 to maybe a 5 or a 6 now?
Yeah, I'd say like a 6 or a 7 now. I think so.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I didn't see any other races on your schedule. Do you have more races coming up that you know of?
Yes, actually, I'll be racing in the Las Vegas Bull Ring this upcoming weekend in the Legend car.
Okay, awesome. And is it hard going now then from the pro late model to the legend? Or do you have to go through the same conversation in your mind about I'm in a Legends car now, not a stock car?
It honestly depends. If I'm running double duty, then yeah. But usually, whenever it's just one car I'm in, because I'm not having to switch back and forth.
Okay. And do you know what your plans are for next year yet?
I think we're gonna run a little bit more Cars Tour stuff, but I think we're pretty much done with the Legend car stuff after this year.
Okay. So this is a kind of your transition year to go full time into pro late models next year.
Yes, exactly. Pro late models, and I think a little bit of super late model stuff.
Okay. So that sounds really good. Do you watch NASCAR at all?
I'll watch a late model race here and there, but yeah, I just never really watched NASCAR.
Well, besides your dad, who is your racer model? The driver you want to model yourself after?
I'm pretty sure this is everybody's, but I'm gonna have to go Kyle Larson.
Oh, Kyle Larson. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't expecting a NASCAR driver after you said you don't really watch it.
Yeah, I know Kyle Larson from dirt stuff. So,
Oh, okay. He is a dirt racer. That's right.
yeah.
So that's good. I like Kyle Larson's demeanor. He stays pretty calm, cool, and collected no matter what. So he's a good one. Okay. Well, thanks again for being on the show. I'm going to go back to Sal because I know he's got some more questions for you.
So being in school, how do you find the time to study for your, of course, for not only one car but two cars, but also study for to school to keep your grades up? Because I know your mom and dad, or if you don't keep good grades, they're probably not going to let you race.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm actually homeschooled, so I have a lot of freedom with school stuff. So I'm pretty much go to work with my dad every day, work at the sign shop, and run race cars. Obviously, every once in a while, whenever we need it. Yeah, and then I usually get home, do school, and just pretty much hang out the rest of the night.
So I ask every driver when they're buckling you in, depending who it is. I know Mike doesn't do none of that, but what are Mike's last words to you before you go out on the track?
Mike's last words is just be patient. The last race, he just says, "Be patient, and the car will come to you."
And as far as your dad, what does he tell you? When he's there at the window net and getting you all prepped and ready to go.
He just says, "Be safe and have fun," pretty much, and just keep the fenders on it.
Yeah, I figured it would be keep the fenders on it because they're the ones that have to replace them. And then Derek.
Derek, he's usually running around with my spotter, so he's not really right there at the window net when I'm buckling in.
And of course, we can't forget your cook. Now that you have a cook with Miss Vicky, because before you had Mike, you guys were just living off of track food. So now you got, not only do you have one of the best cooks out there, but she's a huge supporter of Taylor Mayhew, which is Miss Vicky.
Yeah, this is actually the first time I met her this weekend, and she's super sweet. I mean, she's just the best. She cooked us food all weekend, kept our bellies full, and yeah, she pretty much told me, she just said good luck too before I went out. She actually filled my water bottle for me before I went out too.
So it's time to buckle in. It's time to go. Green light comes. Do you get those last minute? I know some of the younger drivers, they say they get those last minute like shakes, like it's sometimes it's hard to hit the gas, or sometimes, other things go through your mind, because you're looking around, depending where you're starting at. You're seeing all these drivers, especially when you see the older drivers, that know, have a lot of experience out there, and you don't want to be that one guy that messes up the start.
Yeah, no, exactly. I don't usually get super nervous before I go out, because I kind of just, when under caution, I usually just try to get myself out of my own head. So I kind of just zone everything out and just focus on when I'm gonna restart and just the shifting, and that's pretty much all I'm worried about. But, yeah, I feel like I don't get super nervous on the.
So I take it looks like you're a little bit more comfortable in the legend car than you are in the pro late.
Yeah, I'm definitely more comfortable in the legend car because I've been running that for quite a bit longer. I think this is my second year in a legend car, and my first year in a late model. So I'm hoping I'm getting more and more comfortable each time out on the track racing it. So yeah, I hope I'm more comfortable in that thing soon.
Well, it looked like you were Saturday. I mean, you and Jace Hell went at each other for a while, which I thought was great. To see two young drivers, not still respecting each other on the track, but racing hard, for the position, and not letting him take advantage of you, and I'm sure he was thinking the same thing. I'm not going to let anybody take advantage of me. But there was a lot of good fender rubbing and bumping and some good old fashioned racing right there.
Yeah, I thought it was super fun. Me and Jace were super, super close the whole time. And yeah, that track's really hard to pass on. So you kind of have to bumper somebody up to try to pass them. So I just did what I could, but unfortunately he was able to get back by me. But yeah, so we had a good race.
So I'll tell you, it's pretty neat from my perspective, to have known your dad for so long. I wish Johnny would come out a little bit more chainsaw, and then to see Daniel Pedro come out, because they were all part of the little group of your dads. But it was neat to follow your dad and be able to capture some of the stuff I captured with him. And then now it's neat, be able to see you come up through the ranks, young, and go down there, and talk with you guys and enjoy your guys' conversation and see, where your career is going to take you. Because I'm sure if it's any close to your dad's, you're going to end up there. Then, then of course everybody knows where Derek stands and all that. But with that, I just want to say congrats on the wins. Good luck on the upcoming season, and whatever you have for next season, good luck on that. And I'm gonna turn it back over to Sharon.
Okay, Taylor, it's sure good to talk to you and get to know you. And I know there's a whole lot of people behind you. You mentioned quite a few here already, but are there any other shout outs you want to do before we sign off here?
Yeah, I'll just go through all of them, and of course my biggest one, MMI, Steve McGowan, and Salty's Barbecue Catering, Derek Thorn, my mom, my dad, third gen race cars, finish line sides, and yeah, just everybody else who comes out and helps me. My spotter, Randy Wesson, Daniel Pajoza, he drives our hauler every once in a while. Mark, he's definitely one of the biggest guys, and obviously Mike Keene, and yeah, everybody else.
Okay, and hopefully after the interview, you'll pick up a few new fans. So how can people follow you on social media?
Yeah, so my Instagram is at Taylor Mayhew Racing, and so is my Facebook. So definitely go follow those to follow my racing journey.
Okay, and you've got that next race coming up, so fans can be sure to check that out as well. Probably on Flow Racing or Racing America.
Yeah, on one of those, Flow Racing, low budget, one of those deals.
Yep. Okay. Without those, we wouldn't get a chance to know people like you, so that's really cool. So thank you so much, Taylor, for being on the show. We hope you'll come back again somewhere down the road as you continue to progress with your career.
Yes, of course. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah,
Well,
thanks,
yeah.
Taylor. Good luck, and we'll see you at the track.
Thank you.
Okay, Taylor. Take care now.